I learned about this guy here, Dan Wootton, from following Johnny and Amber, and you probably know Dan wrote some bad things about Johnny in The Sun. False allegations, as a matter of fact, but now Dan's got allegations out against him. Not only that, Dan was axed by the Mail Online, which he used to work for. Also, Dan was suspended, most likely permanently, from GB News. But that's not all. It actually gets a little worse. It seems now, per the Byline Times, police investigating Dan Wootton over allegations of 10-year catfishing campaign following Byline Times special investigation from October 2nd, 2023. Now what happened is the Byline Times handed the police over dozens of pages of evidence to look at that Dan committed these so-called acts. GB News scandal hit star presenter Dan Wootton is tonight at the center of a Metropolitan Police probe after a 3-year investigation by Byline Times. It can be exclusively revealed. Let's not forget, these aren't some allegations out there with no evidence. This is a 3-year investigation. Sounds pretty serious, Dan. Detectives from the Complex Investigation Team of the Force's Central Specialist Crime Division are looking into serious allegations relating to the obtaining of SEXUAL images by deception and blackmail. Well, that sounds pretty serious, man. Detectives, Complex Investigation Team. Who would have guessed? A Met Police spokesperson told this newspaper in June 2023 the Metropolitan Police was contacted with regards to allegations of SEXUAL offenses committed by a man aged in his 40s, which kind of fits the description of Dan. Well, just that one piece of it. But that's not all the evidence there is, of course. Officers assessed all information available to establish whether any criminal offense has taken place. We can confirm that an investigation has now commenced into these allegations. I gotta say, man, that is like the perfect expression on Dan's face for this video. Just gotta pat myself on the back for that one. Just saying, just saying. They say there's no arrest made yet, obviously, and they also say that the Byline Times handed the police 28 pages of information. They say events surrounding the case that they pretty much started have now gotten over 18 million views on social media. Not sure which, I think mostly X, but of course I'm sure some leaked off into Instagram and TikTok and whatever. Well, I've actually seen some on TikTok for myself, but most of it I think from X. It is understood that detectives are currently focused on allegations that Wootton staged a 10-year-long campaign to catfish men using the online alias of Martin Branding to persuade them to film SEXUAL content, which was then, in at least one case, allegedly used for blackmail. It follows the announcement of separate investigations by Wootton's former employees, News UK, where he was a long-standing senior editor between 2013 and 2021, and DMG Media, the publisher of Mail Online. Wootton was sacked last Thursday from his twice-weekly Mail Online column, for which he was paid £250,000 a year, which I'm pretty sure is more than 250 grand, following his part in a misogynistic rant in which Lawrence Fox put down journalist Ava Evans on his GB News show, Dan Wootton Tonight. Okay, it doesn't say put down. Not exactly sure what the word they use is. Been in Japan 17 years, and some words kind of slip my vernacular. Basically, Lawrence Fox said some things that were a little inappropriate for the news. Dan laughed along and got suspended from GB News, which Byline Times says is permanent. It might have just been an excuse for GB to suspend Dan. Questions about Wootton, who was suspended by GB News after the misogyny storm last Thursday, 2.5 months after this newspaper started publishing allegations about his conduct, have also been raised by the House of Commons Culture, Media, and Sport Committee, So it looks like it's not only byline times, but we've got a domino effect now where a lot of people are curious about Dan. I wouldn't call it a misogyny storm, but alright. Not gonna get into that, not this video. GB News Chief Executive Angelos confirmed to the committee that the station is monitoring events as Wootton remains off air. So that's the news. Byline time slowed down for about 3 weeks. I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought maybe someone kind of put some pressure on them, silenced them, or whatnot. But they've got stuff coming out quite frequently now. I got one more coming up for tomorrow, and I'm sure it won't be the last. I got some imaginary popcorn because I forgot to buy an actual bag. Maybe next time. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. That's all for now. See you next time.